Olympic Stadium, Munich, July 4th, 1997. 9:23 p.m. 50,000 people watching. Michael Jackson, red military jacket, gold details catching the stage lights, holds a boy upright. The wheelchair sits empty behind them. The boy's legs don't work. They haven't worked in months. But Michael's got him. Arms wrapped around his torso, supporting his full weight, swaying slowly to Earth Song. The crowd sees it on the Jumbotron. This kid trying to move, trying to dance, his body held up by the king of pop himself. 3 weeks earlier, a letter reached Michael's hotel. "I just want to feel what it's like to move like that." The tour manager said no. Insurance said impossible. Michael did it anyway. That white sequined glove on Michael's hand is about to mean something nobody expected. What happens next breaks every rule and creates the image 50,000 people will never forget. June 1997. Munich Children's Hospital. The fluorescent lights hum over bed 14 where Stefan lies, motionless, staring at the ceiling tiles he's memorized for 8 weeks. 14 years old, muscular dystrophy, terminal, progressive, irreversible. The diagnosis came fast, the decline came faster. His legs stopped working in March, his arms weakened by May. Now, mid-June, the doctors talk in hushed German outside his door about timelines nobody wants to say out loud. 3 to 6 months. Maybe less. His mother sits by the window reading the Münchner Merkur, trying not to cry. Then she sees it. Half-page advertisement. History World Tour. Michael Jackson, Olympic Stadium, July 4th. 80 miles away. She folds the paper carefully, walks to Stefan's bed. "Look," she whispers. Stefan's eyes, the only part of him that moves easily now, lock onto the image. Michael frozen mid-moonwalk, white glove extended. "I just want to see him," Stefan says quietly, "even from far away." His mother nods. But what she doesn't say, they can't afford tickets. What she doesn't know, in 2 weeks, a local radio DJ named Klaus Becker will hear this story and change everything. The letter that DJ Becker helps Stefan's mother write, 1 page, handwritten, with Stefan's shaky drawing of Michael dancing, will travel through a chain nobody planned. Radio station to local promoter to tour publicist to Frankfurt Marriott, room 1247, where Michael Jackson sits alone at 2 a.m. reading fan mail he's not supposed to see. A crew member who was there later said, "He didn't sleep that night, just kept staring at that letter." The white glove Michael wore on stage sat on the hotel desk next to the crumpled page. Some requests you can't ignore because they remind you why you're here. But saying yes meant breaking rules Michael had never broken before. Frankfurt. June 18th, 1997. Hotel restaurant, 8 a.m. Michael's tour manager, Frank Delio's successor, a man named Robert who'd managed the dangerous tour, sits across from Michael with a stack of insurance documents. "We can do a meet and greet," Robert says carefully. "Backstage, 5 minutes, photos, that's protocol." Michael stirs his tea, doesn't look up. "What if we bring him on stage?" Robert's fork stops mid-air. "Michael, no. The policy is explicit. No audience contact beyond choreographed moments. We're talking wheelchairs, medical equipment, 50,000 people, pyrotechnics, hydraulic stages." Michael finally looks up. "What if we don't tell them?" Silence. Outside, Frankfurt traffic hums past the Marriott. Inside, Robert realizes this isn't a question, it's a decision already made. By June 25th, 6 people know the plan. Michael, Robert, head of security, Marcus Webb, Stefan's mother and father, and 2 backup dancers Michael trusts completely. They meet in a Frankfurt rehearsal space, door locked, phones off. The plan: bring Stefan backstage during Earth Song. Let him watch from the wings. Maybe, wheel him to stage left where the cameras won't catch him. Keep it invisible, safe, legal enough. Marcus points out the problem. You injured your ankle in '93 doing something spontaneous. Remember the Soul Train Awards? You danced in a wheelchair yourself because you couldn't walk. Michael nods, remembers. This is different, he says. The white glove becomes the signal object. If Michael places it on the piano before Earth Song, the plan is off. If he keeps it on, Stefan comes out. Robert documents everything in depositions years later after Michael's death when the insurance company sues the estate. The hardest part of being famous is choosing between the image and the moment. 3 weeks to rehearse something that had never been tried before. Munich Children's Hospital. Late June 1997. Physical therapy room. Stefan's sessions now focus on comfort, not recovery. The therapist moves his legs through range of motion exercises while Stefan stares out the window. No improvement, only decline. His mother keeps a diary, published in 2010 in her memoir, The Boy Who Danced with the ERA King. Entry from June 23rd. He hasn't smiled in 8 weeks. Today the doctor said we should prepare. I don't know how to prepare for this. Then DJ Klaus Becker visits. Unannounced. Carries a letter. Something might happen, he tells Stefan vaguely. Can't promise anything. Doesn't want to build hope that might shatter. Stefan's response, recorded in the memoir. I just want to see him, even from far away. That's enough. But the family doesn't tell Stefan about the Backstage plan. Can't risk it. Dr. Hermann Schaffer, Stefan's primary physician, pulls the parents aside. Warns them. Extreme excitement could trigger cardiac complications. His heart is weakening with the rest of him. The parents sign release forms anyway. On June 28th, the Münchner Merkur runs a front-page story. Dying Boy's Dream, Meet Michael Jackson. The article includes Stefan's drawing, crude but recognizable, Michael mid-moonwalk. Within hours, all 50,000 ticket holders know about Stefan. Letters pour into the hospital. Flowers. Teddy bears. Strangers offering prayers. Stefan's mother reads him some of the letters. He cries, not from sadness, but from the strange weight of being seen. Hope is dangerous when it's the only thing keeping someone alive. The stadium knew about Stefan, but nobody knew what Michael was planning. July 3rd, 1997. Olympic Stadium, Munich. Private soundcheck, 3 p.m. No audience. Just crew, dancers, technicians testing lights and hydraulics. Michael rehearses the Earth Song ending, normally a dramatic solo moment with rising platform and pyrotechnic rain. Today, they simulate something different. A stagehand sits in a borrowed wheelchair. Michael practices the approach, walks over, kneels. The choreographer, a woman named Lavelle Smith Jr., who'd worked with Michael since Bad, watches with arms crossed. The hydraulics won't wait, she says. You've got 12 seconds before the platform rises. 12. Michael tries it again. Timing's off. The music swells. The platform starts lifting. The wheelchair is still in the danger zone. We'll do it live, Michael says. I'll feel it in the moment. Lavelle shakes her head but doesn't argue. She's seen Michael do impossible things before. The dancers, 8 of them, all veterans from previous tours, practice a new formation. A protective circle. The idea, shield the interaction from the 200 cameras positioned around the stadium. If the Jumbotron operator follows protocol, he'll focus on the dancers, not the wheelchair. If Michael places the white glove on the piano, picks it up before the final run. It's become a ritual now, his way of centering before risk. The crew assumes the plan is simple. Backstage handshake, maybe a quick photo, done. Nobody knows Michael intends to bring Stefan on stage mid-performance. Nobody except the 6 who signed the secret agreement. The best magic happens when everyone thinks they know the plan. The next day, 50,000 people would learn what spontaneity really means. July 4th, 1997. Morning. German tabloids hit the streets. Bild-Zeitung, MJ to meet dying fan tonight. Süddeutsche Zeitung, boy's last wish, touch the king of pop. CNN International picks up the story by 9 a.m. Global coverage. Michael's publicist, Lee Salters, veteran of Sinatra, Streisand, every major name, calls Robert in a panic. Expectations are unmanageable now, Lee says. If this goes wrong, if the kid's health crashes, if anything happens, we're finished. Paparazzi stake out Munich Children's Hospital. Cameras on telephoto lenses, satellite trucks. Stefan's family can't leave the building without being swarmed. Michael's lawyers issue a careful statement. Standard meet and greet. Nothing confirmed beyond backstage access. But privately, a second problem emerges. A rival German network offers Stefan's family 50,000 Deutschmarks for exclusive footage rights. The mother refuses immediately. This isn't about money, she tells the reporter. Leave us alone. By 3 p.m., Stefan arrives at Olympic Stadium in an ambulance, bypasses the main entrance. Security uses a decoy van, sends it to the VIP gate while the real ambulance slips through a service tunnel used for equipment. Press never sees it. Inside, Stefan sits in a private medical room backstage. Monitors beeping, IV drip steady, nurse on standby. He still doesn't know he'll go on stage. His parents decided it's better to let it happen than build pressure that might break his weakening heart. The world was watching, but the world didn't know the real story yet. In 4 hours, everything would change, including Michael's relationship with risk. 6 p.m. Backstage, Olympic Stadium. Green room converted to medical station. Stefan in the wheelchair, thin and pale, eyes wide as Michael Jackson walks in. No cameras, no press. Just 6 people in the room. Stefan, his parents, Michael, the nurse, and Robert. Michael kneels to eye level, a move he's famous for with kids, captured in hundreds of photos over the years. I heard you wanted to dance, Michael says quietly. Stefan's voice cracks. I can't. I just wanted to see you do it. Michael reaches into his jacket, pulls out the white sequined glove, the real one, the one he wears on stage, not a replica. Places it carefully on Stefan's lap. Hold this for me during the show, Michael says. Stefan stares at it, doesn't understand, thinks it's just a gift. A moment of kindness before Michael leaves. But then Michael leans close to Robert, whispers, "We're bringing him out during Earthsong." Robert's face goes rigid. Michael, insurance, safety, legal. Michael's reply, documented in the 2010 memoir from Stefan's mother, who overheard it. Then I'll pay for it myself. The white glove stays on Stefan's lap as Michael stands, smooths his jacket, transforms into performance mode. The nurse checks Stefan's vitals. Heart rate elevated but stable. Breathing steady. The mother holds her son's hand. Nobody speaks. Outside, 50,000 people are flooding into the stadium. The roar builds, a sound like an ocean, like weather, like something bigger than individual voices. Compassion doesn't wait for permission, it just moves. 50,000 people were about to witness something unprecedented. 9 p.m. Olympic Stadium. The show begins. Scream! They don't care about us. Stranger in Moscow. The History World Tour in full force. Michael Jackson at peak form, 39 years old. Every move precise, every note controlled. Stefan watches from the side stage monitor in the medical room. His eyes never leave the screen. His mother later writes, "He was smiling. For the first time in months, he was smiling." The crowd has no idea Stefan is there. They assume he's somewhere in the audience, maybe front row, maybe not. The German press reported he'd be at the concert, but nothing more. Earthsong begins at 9:18 p.m. The stage darkens, blue lights, fog machines. Michael's voice rising over the slow, mournful melody. The backup dancers move into formation, the standard choreography everyone's seen on the tour. But mid-song, at exactly 9:23 p.m., Michael makes a hand gesture. Subtle. A specific finger point towards stage left. Two dancers immediately move. They wheel Stefan's chair from the medical room toward the stage left entrance. The Jumbotron operator, a local technician named Andreas Weber, not part of Michael's touring crew, is following protocol, keeping cameras on Michael. But then Andreas notices movement in his peripheral monitor. A wheelchair. A boy. He makes a choice, switches the feed. Suddenly, on every screen in Olympic Stadium, Stefan appears. 50,000 people see him simultaneously. The roar is instantaneous, deafening. They recognize him from the news, from the papers, from the story everyone's been following. Michael pauses mid-verse, walks towards Stefan, the white glove still on Stefan's lap, shaking slightly from the boy's trembling hands. The biggest moments look like mistakes until they become history. What happened next would make grown men in the crowd cry. Michael Jackson lifts Stefan from the wheelchair. The boy weighs maybe 70 pounds. Michael's arms slide under Stefan's back and legs, lifting him completely, holding him upright in a standing embrace. The roar from 50,000 people is the loudest sound the crew ever recorded at that venue. Stefan's legs dangle, useless, but Michael supports his full weight, holds him like he's standing, like he's whole. The music continues. Earth song, building toward its crescendo. Michael begins to sway, slow, gentle, moving Stefan's body to the rhythm, left, right, a dance in its simplest form. The doctors watching from backstage later report, Stefan's heart rate spiked initially, then stabilized, tears streaming down his face. But stable. The Earth Song performance continues for another 90 seconds. Michael never stops swaying, never stops moving Stefan's body with the music. The Jumbotron captures close-ups. Stefan's face shows something beyond joy, transcendence maybe, or the pure shock of a dream materializing against all logic. The white glove falls from Stefan's lap, drops to the stage floor. Michael sees it, kicks it gently aside, keeps moving, his own gloved hand supporting Stefan's back. A crew member, interviewed in 2009 after Michael's death, said, "Michael was crying, Stefan was crying, the entire crew backstage was crying, but the show never stopped." Dancing isn't about legs, it's about being moved by something greater than yourself. But the moment wasn't over. What came next shocked even Michael. Michael signals to the backup dancers. They move in, forming a protective circle around Michael and Stefan. Then something spontaneous happens. The ensemble begins moving with Stefan's rhythm. 8 dancers, synchronized, swaying at the same gentle pace Michael set. The stadium erupts again. A chant starts in the German sections, spreads through the crowd. "Stefan! Stefan! Stefan!" 50,000 voices in unison. The sound rattles the stadium structure. Michael leans close to Stefan's ear. The mother's memoir records what Michael whispered, told to her by Stefan later. "Feel this. This is all for you." Earth Song builds to its climax. Pyrotechnics ignite, controlled explosions of silver sparks. The hydraulic platform begins its programmed rise. Michael has maybe 10 seconds. He lowers Stefan carefully back into the wheelchair, kneels beside him, removes his own white glove, the real one, the iconic one, the one worth tens of thousands to collectors, places it permanently on Stefan's hand. Then Michael kisses Stefan's forehead. The Jumbotron captures it. The moment is documented in over 40 fan-shot videos, later uploaded to early internet forums, archived, shared, impossible to erase. The stadium atmosphere shifts into something beyond entertainment, spiritual, transcendent, unscripted. People in the crowd later report feeling like they witnessed something sacred. Not a show. A moment. The greatest performances aren't planned, they're surrendered to. The show wasn't even over, but the story was just beginning. The show continues. Michael completes Earth Song, exits stage left. The crowd's roar follows him into the wings. Backstage, controlled chaos. Stefan is immediately wheeled to the medical station. The nurse checks vitals. Heart rate elevated but stable. Blood pressure normal. Oxygen levels good. No cardiac distress. Just emotional overwhelm. Pure, clean, overwhelming joy. Stefan's mother kneels beside the wheelchair, holds her son. Her memoir quotes Stefan's first words after leaving the stage. "Mama, I danced. I really danced." Meanwhile, the crew scrambles. Insurance representatives on conference calls. Legal teams waking up in Los Angeles. Marcus Webb, head of security, already drafting incident reports. Robert finds Michael in the dressing room. Michael sits alone, still in costume, holding the second white glove, the one he didn't give away. "You could have hurt him," Robert says quietly. "Or yourself, or gotten sued for everything." Michael's response, documented in multiple crew testimonies. Some risks are worth taking. Outside, Stefan's family is mobbed by press at the stadium exit. Cameras, microphones, questions shouted in German and English. The father shields his wife and son. Security intervenes. They're escorted to a private car, driven back to the hospital under police protection. By 11 p.m., German television news leads with "Miracle on stage, MJ makes dying boy dance." CNN International runs the story globally within 2 hours. Video footage already spreading. The world calls it a miracle. But it was just one man choosing love over fear. The story should have ended there. But what happened in the following weeks changed everything again. July 5th through August 1997. Global media explosion. Over 200 news outlets cover the moment. BBC, CBS, ABC, MTV. Entertainment Tonight. The story runs for weeks. Fan-shot VHS tapes become the most requested footage in Germany. People copying and sharing before YouTube exists. Before streaming, when virality meant physical tapes passing hand to hand. Stefan's medical condition shows unexpected stability. Doctors at Munich Children's Hospital report findings they can't fully explain. The muscular dystrophy hasn't reversed, that's impossible, but Stefan's decline plateaus. His appetite returns, his spirits lift. Dr. Schaefer notes in medical records, emotional surge, endorphin release, strengthened will to live. Stefan lives 14 months beyond his original prognosis. 14 months. He dies in January 1999, peacefully at home. His mother's 2010 memoir states, "That moment with Michael gave him 14 extra months. No medicine did that, no treatment, just 90 seconds of being whole." The white glove stays beside Stefan's hospital bed until his final day. He never lets it out of his sight. Michael sends monthly letters, handwritten, private, never publicized until after both their deaths. The letters talk about music, about dreams, about believing in impossible things. The History World Tour continues through 1997. 82 shows. Michael never replicates the moment with Stefan, never brings another fan on stage like that. When asked about it in a 1997 MTV interview, he deflects. "Some moments are meant to happen once. You can't manufacture magic twice. You can only honor the original." But the glove's journey wasn't finished. Behind the scenes, consequences compound. The insurance company threatens breach of contract lawsuit. Michael's team violated explicit performance protocols. The claim? Reckless endangerment, unauthorized deviation, liability exposure. Michael pays a settlement. $120,000 out of pocket, documented in legal filings leaked during the 2013 estate case. Tour lawyers implement immediate new restrictions. No spontaneous audience contact, no unscripted interactions, no exceptions. Michael's response to crew, verified in 2009 testimonies, "Worth every penny, I'd do it again." Stefan's family refuses all media payment offers. Tabloids offer 6 figures for exclusive interviews. Television networks bid for the inside story. The mother declines everything. This moment stays sacred, she tells reporters. German tabloids turn critical. Bild runs a Zyada down, questioning Michael's motives. Exploitation of dying child for publicity? The headlines sting. Michael never responds publicly, chooses silence over defense. But privately, reality unfolds differently. Michael visits Stefan 3 more times between 1997 and 1998. No press, no cameras, just quiet hospital visits arranged through back channels. He brings books, listens to Stefan talk about school, about dreams, about the ordinary things dying children think about. When Michael dies in June 2009, Stefan's mother releases a statement. "He gave my son the gift of movement when movement was impossible. He gave us 14 extra months of smiles. I'll never forget." Fame turns even pure moments into transactions. But those who were there know the truth. The final chapter was written 12 years later when the world finally understood. January 1999. Stefan dies at home, surrounded by family. The white sequined glove is placed in his hands. At his request, it's buried with him. The funeral draws over 2,000 attendees, classmates, teachers, hospital staff, strangers who followed the story, people who saw the video and felt connected to something larger than themselves. Michael sends a private message read at the service but doesn't attend. His absence is intentional, to avoid turning Stefan's funeral into a media circus, to let the family grieve without cameras. July 2009. Michael Jackson dies in Los Angeles. The world mourns. Tributes pour in from presidents, artists, millions of fans. Among them, Stefan's mother, now in her 60s, who reveals the full story in her 2010 memoir, The Boy Who Danced with the King. The book becomes a German bestseller. The white glove image, Stefan's hand wearing it, caught on the Jumbotron that night in 1997, becomes iconic in Michael Jackson fan communities. A symbol of his hidden compassion, the kindness cameras rarely captured. In 2013, Munich's Olympic Stadium installs a permanent plaque near the stage entrance. The night music made a boy dance, July 4, 1997. History Tour crew members give interviews for a 2013 documentary. Unanimous testimony. That moment defined why we did this work. Stefan's mother's final quote in the memoir. "Michael taught us that dancing isn't about movement, it's about transcendence." The glove's meaning transformed completely. From costume prop to symbol of impossible mercy. 50,000 people cried that night. But only one boy danced.